Number 5.
The part of quad.
That's
Part of
it.
explosive device.
Okay, that's very important.
No.
That's the. This
This.
is part of the core. Explosive. However, it's charring. We want to find a timer. The timer usually give us a MO. You can see this called crater. Crater, when bullet enter, leave a crater. This called concentric ring. Those called radial fracture. However, some of the radial fracture is after explosion when glass landed. Okay, the victim, we're going to, the crime scene people are going to take the victim out later. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, friends, welcome to Croatia. Welcome to the ISABS conference. ISABS actually, as all of you know, became traditional.
To je bila veljača i bili smo na skupu Američke akademije za forenzičke znanosti i u jednom trenutku sa željom da pokušamo napraviti transfer znanja mom prijatelju, kolegi, profesoru Schenfieldu, kaže kako bi bilo da ovo što danas svjedočimo na Američkoj akademiji, na nekim drugim institucijama, pokušamo napraviti transfer tog znanja u Europu. I on meni kaže, može, kad planiraš, za nekoliko godina? Ja kažem ne, za 7 mjeseci u Hrvatskoj.
Nobody puts together an international meeting in 6 months. So I said, you're out of your mind, though it may have been more colorful than that.
I ono što je bila sreća u svemu, što je rekao da. Kad je rekao da, mjesec nakon toga mi je rekao da mu to možda jedna od najvećih grešaka u životu. Kad je završen prvi kongres, rekao je, to mi je bila najvažnija pozitivna odluka u životu i definitivno ćemo promijeniti znanost kako danas imamo. Tako je sve započelo. 90. godina mi smo bili uključeni u proces identifikacije žrtava rata. I kako je u najuži tim bio zapravo uključen vrh američke forenzike, ja sam dobio priliku prezentirati rezultate identifikacije iz masovnih grobnica.
Dragon is a very unique person. He can talk you into doing anything, everything. When late 80s, he called my secretary and wanted to make an appointment to see me. I said, no, I'm busy. I don't have time. He was able to talk to my secretary, give 5-minute appointment. He showed up in the laboratory, talked 4 hours. We have to cancel the rest appointment. He really very persuaded. He want me to help to train the Croatian scientists, forensic scientists. Also want us to initiate a program to help pick up the mass grave in Bosnia and surrounding area. He tried to persuade me to come to Croatia. That time the war is still going on. I said, no, I'm busy. I really don't have time. But he's so persuasive, say thousands victims without identification. The victim's family hope to have a conclusion from their loved one. So I read the news about a war goes on. I read the news about mass grave. So he really touched my heart. Listen, when people tell you impossible, make it possible, not make you unique.
Henry Lee nije samo moj mentor i učitelj i profesor. Henry Lee je prijatelj. Kad je god trebalo meni pomoći u zadnje 22 godine, Henry Lee je bio sa mnom. Ali kod Henrya Lee imate jedan poseban osjećaj. On vam je i član obitelji. Henry vas nikad ne napušta I ono što je njegova ogromna snaga, on želi da budete izvrstan. On je poseban po tome što je radio najteže slučaje u povijesti SAD-a, od O.J. Simpsona, Martin Luther Kinga, rekonstrukcije ubojstva predsjednika Kennedyja, jer je uvijek gledao drugim očima. On je čovjek koji je radio rekonstrukcije mjesta događaja kad su svi od njih odustajali. Nikada neću zaboraviti kad je Henry Lee sa mnom letio, to je bio transportni američki zrakoplov koji je sa sobom mogao ponijeti određeni teret i morali smo sletiti na jednoj lokaciji kako bi uzeli zrak i gorivo. Henry Lee je u tim trenucima napuštao slučaj koji je uzdramao SAD. O.J. Simpson. Kad su svi mediji postavljali pitanje što je to tako veliko u Hrvatskoj da najznačajniji događaj forenzici vi napuštate, on je rekao ja moram pomoći mome prijatelju, doktoru Primorcu i svim onim obiteljima jer nastojimo utvrditi identitet ubijenih u masovnim grobnicama. To su stvari koje mogu napraviti članovi obitelji ili najbliži ljudi. Zbog toga Henry Lee je stalno u mome srcu.
I got a phone call on, I think, a Friday, and it was Dragan said, "What are you doing next week?" I said, "What do you mean?" I just had a stent, so I actually had to call my cardiologist to get permission to come to Croatia to dig up bodies. So we exhumed, I think, about 30 people over the weekend and identified 27 of them the following week. And so it was very emotional.
He approached me and asked me if I could help with the Homeland War, the identification of skeletal remains that had been recovered. At the time, I was the director of the Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory in Washington, D.C., and we were looking at skeletal remains and developing new techniques. So I was able to help Dragan with the transfer of those techniques so that he could help identify individuals from the war and send them back to their families.
I saw in reality these cruel, sad and disastrous times of the war in the country, and I then started together with others to design and to organize an appeal for peace in Croatia. That was resulted in a very complete list of Nobel laureates that were supporting this appeal for peace in Croatia. The most complete list, almost all living laureates, not only from chemistry, physics or the natural sciences, but also from peace, for instance, signed it. This appeal, and it had a consequence at that time. It helped in establishing the independence of Croatia.
Ono što je krasilo Henrya Leea, Michaela Badena, Mitcha Hollanda, Haskell Pitluka, dakle elitu američke forenzike, svi oni su bili sa mnom. Niko od njih se nije povlačio kad smo ulazili u minska polja. Ja sam kao Hrvat to morao raditi. Oni to nisu trebali raditi. Međutim, nikad me nisu ostavili. Ja im to nikada ne mogu zaboraviti, kao što im Hrvatska to nikada ne može zaboraviti. Mladi ljudi koji su oko mene su inspiracija, moja radost. Ti mladi se ljudi raduju svakom uspjehu. Oni su mi motiv, jer gledajući njih gledam sebe prije 30 godina i one mentore koje sam ja imao, koji su meni pomogli da postignem to što sam danas postigao u životu, želim nadmašiti čineći dobro prema ovim mladim ljudima. Želim da i kad doktoriraju, kad dobiju specijalizaciju, da to budu ljudi koji će u mnogim stvarima nadmašiti mene. Svi mi prolazimo različite faze u životu. Kao što je nekad davno meni bila potrebna pomoć od vodećih forenzičara, genetičara, liječnika, nobelovaca, s kojima gradim prijateljstva, evo sada već 28 godina, skoro 30 godina. Dođete u jednu fazu gdje zapravo vaša jedina prava inspiracija biva činiti dobro, a nama u medicini usmjeriti ljude u koje vi duboko vjerujete kako bi bili izvrsni.
What are we looking at? Are we sure we're looking at things of those 17 mother-child pairs? No duplicates, which is important.
I've been fortunate to have been at all 11 of the ISABS conferences. And there are two really important things about the ISABS conference. The first one is that it's very student-oriented, and students are the central focus of the meeting, teaching students, transferring all the information that the old people have to the young generation. The other thing is that it's an intersection between medical, anthropologic, and forensic genetics, which is incredibly unique. There's no other meeting like this in the world.
Bringing together thought leaders from around the world only increases our knowledge and our understanding of what the potential is. And that's really what this conference is all about, is kind of maximizing the potential of DNA technology, be it in a medical genetics standpoint or forensics. And from a forensic standpoint, what we're looking to do is learn how we can all better leverage the power of DNA to fight crime, to solve crime more quickly, and ultimately prevent crime.
I find that of all the conferences I go to, it's the most professionally rewarding. It's the most honest as far as people really being able to say, here's what I can do and here's what I'm willing to do with you. And as we move further and further into a global society, this is exactly the right model to do, yes.
I think this is a wonder opportunity to bring lots of scientists from many countries together and to share the types of research that they're doing, and it really promotes a great collaborative atmosphere to be in such a beautiful location.
She graduated in 06. Do you know where she is now?
Science is fun. It's a lot of fun to do science because it's like a detective work. You know, you want to find out something, but you are not after a criminal. You are after the nature. So it's very exciting.
So messenger is now in its path.
Well, I like to meet old friends, colleagues, students in a very pleasant surrounding, speak to them, and eventually lure these students into my field of research, which is protein structures. I tell the young people that they are the future, you see. I'm not the future, I'm the past, you see. But I can tell them about my science and its importance for understanding biology, understanding medicine, and designing new drugs. But in other fields as well, we have these problems with health, of course. This is about what this conference is about, but there is the problem with food for a growing population on the world. There is the problem with energy. Now, all of this, I think, all of these problems can be solved with the help of research and science.
The strength of a country's science is directly related to the interest level of the government in that enterprise. And I think that is true wherever you are, and it's a critical factor.
Our future is with the young people and their education. So their schools, their university education, or also education, practical education in companies. So the politicians must make a priority, you see. They spend the money and they decide in which direction, for which purpose it should be spent. And the utmost priority is education. It's for our young people who are our future.
Future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. One of my mentors in my life was an outstanding person, also Nobel Prize laureate in the peace, Shimon Peres, president of Israel. You know what? He recently published a book, we are having translation in Croatian. He was always telling me, no room for small dreams, dream big. And then you have a chance to achieve a big. That's what is my message to our students and the scientists in the future.
1965, went to the United States. I don't even speak English. Only have $50 in my pocket. So 50 years later, I have a lot of money in my pocket. I still don't speak English. So it's fun.
I was born in China, in a small city. My father used to be very rich, a businessman. However, during the war, we lost everything. My father left China and the boat sank. So when I was 7 years old, I lost my father. My mother brought me up. When I was young, my mother always teach me, have a dream, and make the dream impossible become possible. Because many times people tell you that's not possible. Don't take it, just make it possible, then you become unique. So I studied at the police college. When I was 22, I became youngest police captain. I started interested in applied science to solve the case. So I chased my dream to United States in 1965, got my doctorate degree at the NYU Medical Center, then start my career in forensic at University of New Haven, become the laboratory director for Connecticut State Police, then become chief criminalist for the state. In 1998, governor appointed me as the commissioner in charge of the state police operation. So I've been in the field for 57 years. I learned something, chase your dream, always a dream, and then you have future. Make the dream become reality. Challenge the impossible. Set the limit of no limit. Dragon is one of the examples. I want all the young men and young women, chase your dream, work harder, and make your dream become possible.
Modric and Huber, Nobel Prize laureates, which they're going to have photo with you. And I hope this conference already changed your life. So please take position. You should tell us how we should say. And
I think they wouldn't mind an applause. Thank you so much, Professor Primorac. I just need you to stay a little bit more with me because the lady who comes from South Carolina, USA, of course, she has something special for you. The microphone is yours.
Good evening. Would like to recognize Dragan, and I think that what we have is very appropriate. I'm sure you all agree, yes?